Hey guys, it's Mrs. Strope. I'm going to go over lesson 14.3 with you. You may want to grab some paper and pencil and jot down these examples just like you would do on a normal class day. And of course, this is recorded so you can pause the video if I am going too quickly for you. So what we're going to be doing in lesson 14.3 is working on multiplying polynomials. So I have just had you work on adding and subtracting, which was really just like combining like terms. This is going to be a little bit different. Okay, so I'm going to go through a whole bunch of examples for you. I'll post some extra videos of different recordings that other people have done just in case my explanations aren't clear. So the first example I have here is taking d to the fifth f squared and multiplying by all this stuff in parentheses. You'll notice that you don't have any plus signs or minus signs here. So really what we're doing is we're just going to be kind of focusing on like terms and multiplying those like things together. So d's will multiply with d's, f's will multiply with f's. Okay? So here's how this is going to go. I'm going to start with the multiplying, and then I'm going to show you how to put things sort of in like a specific order after that. So step one, I'm going to find d to the fifth, and I'm going to multiply that by d to the third. Remember this, if there's no sign shown, that means multiplication. So d to the fifth times d to the third would be d to the eighth. And kind of think of it like I have 5 D's here and I have 3 D's here. So all together I have 8 of them. F to the second times F to the second. So that means I have 2 F's, and then 2 more F's would give me 4 of that letter. And then I'm going to bring down everything I didn't use. So I didn't use the 16 and I did not use the E to the fourth. So this is kind of all the stuff that I have in my answer, but I'm going to rearrange it and make it look better. And so to do that, you're going to take any of your regular numbers and those are going to go first. So like 16, that's called a coefficient. And then your letters you're going to put in alphabetical order. So it would be D first, and that had an 8. E would be second, and then F would go last. So this would be your answer, 60. Oh, Lord, look at that. Good job, Mrs. Strope. 16, can I fix it? There we go. 16, D to the 8th, E to the 4th, F to the 4th. Let's try another. Okay, so next example, we have multiplication again, and I know that because there's no plus or minus signs, just negatives. And I'm multiplying this thing on the outside times this thing on the inside. So the first thing I see is I'm going to do negative 13 times negative 3. Those are just regular numbers, so you just multiply them like normal. 2 negatives make a positive, and then 13 times 3 would be 39. The next thing is R's. So this one is an R to the third, and this one is just a single R. So it may be helpful to put a 1 to remind yourself that there's just one R listed there. And so if I put it together, R to the third times an R would give me 4 of those R's. And then S to the fifth times S squared. So these two things are alike, and we would say I have 5 S's, and then 2 more gives me 7 S's. And then I'm just going to double check, do I have the coefficient first? Yes. Do I have my letters in alphabetical order? Yes, I do. So then I am done. That circle went a little better than last time. Okay. This next example is different because it's got plus signs. The other two did not. And if you need to go back and rewind the video to look at that, you may. But the other examples did not have plus signs. So the way that this is going to go, we're going to take this outside term of 8t squared and we are going to distribute it, which means we're going to multiply it through 3 different times. And so I'm going to start with 8t squared times 3t squared. And we're going to use kind of the same pattern as before where we put like terms with like terms. So 8 times 3 would be your first move, and that is 24. And then you got to try to think about what would t squared times t squared be. Remember, that's the rule is like 2 t's and then 2 more gives you how many? So this would be t to the 4th. Go to the middle. Actually, I think I'm going to put ones here beside my letters before I forget. Okay, that's better. So 8t squared, and to the middle would be 5st. So I'm going to start with the 8 times the 5. So that is 40. And then I have t squared times 1t, so that gives me 3 t's. And then anything I didn't use, meaning s, I will drop down. Now you can drop it down as an s, or you can put the 1 if you'd like, but the 1 is not needed since it's just a 1. All right, go all the way to the end. So 8 times 2 would be 16. T squared times no other t's. So I would just have a t squared. And then I don't have any other s's except for the one that's right here. So I would drop that down. Now, the only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make this answer look a little bit better because here in the middle and at the end, I don't have my letters in alphabetical order. So I'm going to switch them around because S comes before T in the alphabet. And so I'm going to switch it and write it like this. Let's see if I can get a circle all the way around here. Okay. All right, we got one more, and I kind of threw a trick question here at the end of this slide just to see if you were kind of paying attention. So do you notice that in this example, there's no parentheses and there's no times signs? That's because this question is not a multiplication question like the rest. This is just addition. So I'm adding this term to this term to this term and then subtracting that one. So this would be a review of the last lesson that I had you do, meaning you're just combining like terms here. So I have an x squared y, and that can be combined with other x squared y's, which I have one here. And so to do that, you add the coefficients. So that would be 25 x squared y's. And then 2x and negative 5x are like terms. So 2 plus negative 5 would be negative 3x. So I just wanted to refresh your memory on, that type of question. Okay, I told you I have lots of examples. I just want to kind of make sure you're like overly prepared for what's going on here. So if you feel comfortable right now, maybe pause the video and try these 4 problems on your own and see what you can do. If you're not feeling comfortable, then just keep playing and I'll go through some more examples with you. So 12x to the 5th times 5x to the 4th. So we're going to do that same thing where we do like things multiplied together. So 12 times 5 would be your first thing, and that is 60. And then x to the 5th times x to the 4th. Remember, you just say like I have 5 x's and then 4 more gives me 9. Number 7, we're going to do one thing at a time like before. So 6 times 4 is 24. A4 and A3 would give me 7 of those A's. And then I have a single B, and then 2 more gives me 3 of those. Number 8, you have 6 times 3, that's 18. I'm going to put little ones by this A and this B. I have 2 A's, and 1 more gives me 3 A's. And I have 5 B's plus 1 gives me 6 B's. last one. So 4 times 9 for this last example would be 36. Now this one's tricky, be careful. So I have k squared, but I don't have any other k's. So we would just bring that over. I have d to the 5th and d to the 3rd, which would give me d to the 8th. And then I have this j squared when I don't have any more j's, so I would just bring that down. And then we are going to rewrite that because it's definitely not in alphabetical order. D comes first, and then j, and then k. So there you go. There's your answer for that last one. All right, some more challenging questions. I'm not going to do all of these. I'm going to actually just kind of do, I think I'm just going to do number 12, and then I have other examples here for you too. But let's just do kind of like 12's got some interesting stuff going on. So I would start by putting little ones here again. Anytime there's no exponent shown, it's just helpful for you so you don't forget things. And so this is a distributing problem because we're going to have to multiply this outside term by every term on the inside. So this one would be 2a squared times 5b squared. Well, 2 times 5 is 10. A squared doesn't have anything to combine with, so you would just leave it as a squared. And then b squared doesn't have anything to combine with. So that would be 10a squared b squared. Go to the next step. So you'd have 2 times 3 is 6. A squared times 1 more a gives you a to the 3rd. And then you do have a b here as well that you would need to bring down. Next step. 2 times 6, so that's 12. A squared times an a gives you a to the 3rd. And then the last step, 2a squared times 1. So that would be 2 times 1 is 2, and then your a squared doesn't have anything to combine with, so you would just drop it down. This is the last slide. I'm just going to, again, kind of go through a few examples because I think you get the point by now. So a couple more. I like this first one, number 11, because it has decimals, and it's just a quick reminder, like, not to panic when you see a decimal. In fact, this one you can actually do in your head, believe it or not. Give yourself a chance to think through it. So this means negative 0.5 times negative 16. So I want to remind you, 0.5 is half, right? So what is a half times 16? Or in other words, what is half of 16? Well, half of 16 is 8. And two negatives make a positive, so it would be positive 8. You have an m times an m to the 4th, so that would make 5 m's altogether. And then don't forget that anything you don't use, you're going to bring it down. So that would be 8 m5 and 2. Okay, the next one is pretty simple. It is again distributing all the way through like this. It's not bad because the number on the outside is just a single number. So this would be 5 times 2k. That would be 10k, or I'm sorry, 5 times 2k squared. So it'd be 10k squared. 5 times k gives you 5k. And then to the end, 5 times 4 would be 20. That's it for today. I hope this has been helpful, and I really miss you guys. If you have any questions, you can get a hold of me through email or on Remind, or even leave me a comment on Classroom. See ya!